Hey everyone, Danielle here. I'm doing a solo overview of Shadow and Rune. And thank you to the designer for sending me a copy of this one. I'm super excited to show you guys. This is a solo friendly deck building game. So if you're into that, this might be the one for you. Keep in mind that everything is a prototype, so anything you see is subject to change, including what you see on screen today. All right, so just to explain the play area here, we have a battle board. It is split into two sides. So down the middle, there's a line, and these two rows are going to be where the enemy will spawn their minions. And then this will be the side we will spawn our minions. We have a nice little map here that we can travel to throughout the game. We will start on the campfire on this card, and we will decide which direction we want to go. We have 4 runes that we will try to gain throughout the game, and that's how we will actually win the game is once we gain all 4 runes. We also have a player phase card to talk about my turn and the enemy turn. And then, of course, we have our cards. So again, this is a deck building game. We start with 6 cards in the solo game. It's a mix of minions and items that we get to start with in our deck. We'll give that a shuffle, and then we'll draw 3 cards as our starting hand. And then we have 3 coin cards, which will give us 1 gold each. These will be spent if we decide to visit a merchant or blacksmith throughout our journey in this game. All right. So in our journey, we are going to decide what we're going to go up against. We could either go to the merchant here, which is that icon, or we could go to an enemy. I think we're just gonna go right into an enemy. So that icon actually is for a normal enemy or minion. So we're gonna go ahead and look at that deck of normal minions. So basically, these are going to be one of each of the minions that cost 6 or less, and these are considered randomizers. So basically, we're going to be looking at 3 of these cards and then just grabbing 2 of each of those from the box and building our enemy deck out of it. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3. So we have a road bandit, a bone archer, and a bloated butcher. So these 3 are going to be minions that come out into our deck. So we're going to go ahead and grab them from the box. All right, so I grabbed the 6 cards from the box and we'll put the randomizers back into that normal randomizer enemy deck. We're going to give that a good shuffle, and this will be the 6 enemies we'll be facing. All right. We're gonna go ahead and start going through the phase. So enemies take their first turn. They have a prepare phase where they remove spawn tokens, but we're gonna skip that for now. So I'll explain that in a little bit. We're also skipping the move phase, which I'll explain in a bit as well. And we're going straight into the main phase. So we get to draw 1 card from the enemy deck, and we're gonna draw a road bandit. So taking a look at this card here, the enemy doesn't really care about anything except the 1 attack and 1 health and the targeting. So this will tell me what the enemy will be targeting or the minion will be targeting. And this will tell me the attack it will do to me and how much health it has. And to determine where it goes on their side, we actually take all the map cards, and they look like this. So they look like map cards. The other side looks like this. We're going to give it a good shuffle, flip over the top card, and look at the bottom right letter. All right, so that's a letter D. We're going to column D, and we're going to always place the minion on the ranged space of that column. I'm going to go ahead and place it here. And then these orange cubes will mark that it just spawned and it cannot attack. So the rest of the phase includes a combat phase. So it will go ahead and see if it can attack from left to right, melee, and range rows. In this case, again, all of the enemies will actually not be able to attack because the only one that's out there is currently spawned. So now it's our turn, and we have an Echo Dagger in our hand, a Shadow Bat, and a Shadow Bat. So to go over kind of what's on this card for us, similar format, obviously, but it will matter what we see here. So this is an icon, it's a candle icon that has the number one next to it. At the beginning of each of our turns, we always have three actions. Do we spend those actions depending on how much we have to spend on the top left of the card? So to play the Shadow Bat onto the battle board, we have to spend one of our actions. So one of our three actions will be spent to play Shadow Bat if we wanted to. And it will deal one damage if it's attacking, and it has one health. And then if we were buying this card from the merchant, it would cost us three gold to buy. And then the targeting is right here. It will always target the space directly in front of it. Of course, only the enemies because it does not have friendly fire. And same thing with the enemies, they can't hurt their own people. So okay, so we'll use one action to play this Shadow Bat. We'll put our spawn token there to specify or show that it cannot attack this turn. And again, we'll do that with our second action. Place our spawn token on the Shadow Bat, and it cannot attack this turn. I could use the Echo Dagger with my final action. And it says deal one damage. All Echo Daggers deal one additional damage this turn. I think I might hold on to this one and see what happens because in a solo game, you only get to draw one card after every turn, and I might want this in my back pocket. So I'll keep this in my hand for now. So we won't do anything in the combat phase. We have one more action left, and I don't think we're going to use it. Um, and then we will go into the refresh phase, which allows me to draw a card from my deck. And I drew a Goblin Guard. So this one has 2 health, which is pretty good, but it does cost 3 action points to play it on the battle board. So we'll see. We'll have to think about that. All right, so now it's the enemy turn. So the enemy phase will always start with the prepare phase of removing spawn tokens. So we'll remove it from that. And then they will move one space to the right if there is a space open. So it's going to move to the right. All right. So now the main phase, we're going to draw an enemy card. It's going to be the Bone Archer minion. And then we're going to draw from the shuffled up map deck. See what we get. We get column C. So it's going to be placed in the ranged column, ranged space of column C. Put a spawn token on that. All right. So after that, we're going to go ahead and go into the combat phase. The only one that could potentially attack is this one because it was not just spawned this turn. But as you can see, this actually can't attack anything in front of it right now because it's not in a space that it could attack on my side right now. And that is their turn. Let's see what we've got. We've got 3 actions to either play an Echo Dagger or a Goblin Guard. Let's go ahead and remove our spawn tokens. And I think I think I will just play the Goblin Guard with all 3 of my actions. So this one has a special ability. When Goblin Guard is attacked by another melee minion, it deals 1 damage back to its attacker. I will play it right here. And I use up all my 3 actions. I won't be able to do anything. So we'll move on to the combat phase. So this one just came out. We'll put a spawn token on it. But these 2 Shadow Bats came out last turn. So that means we get to attack. And they will attack the enemy space directly in front of it. So that means that the enemy will take 2 damage. Okay, so they will take 1 damage, and I'll just place that up here. So for the normal enemy, they have 10 health. So if we end up doing 10 damage to them, then we've passed this scenario. All right. So that's kind of how the combat works. Let's take a look at how meeting a merchant works. So say next we decide to go to the merchant. So we'll give the normal minion deck a shuffle. And then we will get to draw 2 cards. And we have a giant spider and a dark bear. So in this case, when we're at the merchant, we really have to have a lot of money. We only start off with three at the beginning of the game, but throughout the game, as you defeat minions, you will gain gold and rewards. So with if you happen to save up, you'll be able to afford buying a dark bear at 6 gold or one of the giant spiders at 5 gold. And then once you buy it, you'll be able to add it to your deck for the next round. So between these two, you'll just pick one, and then the other one will just go back. And again, these are just randomizer cards. You'll grab the card that you end up buying from the box. All right, so say instead we move into the blacksmith. So that is that icon here. Say we ended up just traveling it and making our way there. We're gonna go ahead and place our token on top of the blacksmith icon. And then we're gonna draw two items. So the items would also be randomized as well. You're going to just place them all in one deck to randomize, and you're going to draw two. One, two. All right, we have a great sword and an echo dagger. So depending again on the cost on the bottom right, you'll be able to purchase this and add them to your deck. And again, these items are used only once. So once you use it, they end up in your discard pile. They don't stay out on the battle board. So let me just go through what happens if you explore on a new card. So for instance, if I ended up, going to the right. So I'm here and I go to this side. You will flip over the card that you came from and then just take all the other cards that were there. And then you're going to shuffle up the deck of map cards and put more cards around it, just like this. And that's what you would do every time you go to a new card. So it's not going to expand or take up as much space as you think it might as you play this game. I like how this kind of smartly manages your space and keeps things fresh as well. And it's not always the same map. So I do want to point out kind of the reward system here. So as I mentioned, you gain gold as a reward, and there are difficulty levels. So playing solo, if you're playing normal battles, you get three normal cards from the randomizer. You create a 6 card deck out of them, so that's two of each of those normal minions. Uh, the enemy has 10 health. So again, if you deal 10 damage to them directly, you'll win that battle. And then you'll gain 6 gold as a reward if you win the battle. And then if you were attacking one of the elites, you're going to go ahead and draw one normal and two elite cards and then create a 6 card deck. So two of each of those. And then they have a total of 15 health. So you'll have to defeat them with 15 damage, and then 9 gold will be your reward. So you do get ample gold to be able to at least buy one or two cards every time you go to the merchant or the blacksmith, as long as you're, defeating these enemies throughout the game. Something I didn't mention is that you can actually flee the battle. So say you're thinking, wow, I'm not going to win this one. You can actually decide to flee. So when you do this, you lose 3 gold from a normal battle and 5 gold from an elite battle. And so you can just go on to the next map space after that. So something to keep in mind. There are ways to kind of escape if needed. But anyway, that was my overview of Shadow and Rune. I hope you liked it. I think this is one of the more unique deck builders I've ever come across. I think it's very well designed. The artist is amazing. Just take a close look at some of the artwork on here. I think his name is Paul Yates. So definitely impressed by the art, the color scheme. Not colorful by any means, but I really like the grayscale and the mysteriousness of this one. I mean that spider looks awesome. And I don't like spiders. But what I really like is this kind of journey that you could take in this game. And like I said, because there are so many different map cards, it's really got a lot of replayability because every run will be different basically. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to see any more videos about this. I'm not sure I'll be able to make a full solo playthrough, but if I had the time, I might be able to fit it in. So let me know if you're interested in that. But in the meantime, thanks again to the designer for sending me a preview copy of this. If you're interested in supporting the game, definitely click the link in my description below. And if you have any questions, definitely comment with a question as well. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. A like or comment is always appreciated. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.